Hello Game fans, as mentioned, quite a number of new trailers have caught my eye this month, so here's part 2 with some not so indie titles, a number of bird themed entries, and some real gorgeous games to look forward to. We begin with a new trailer for the Chinese Souls-like RPG Black Myth Wukong, a not so indie title, but a gorgeous game nonetheless, and is a no-brainer for Souls-like fans. This new trailer released last month as we bid adieu to the Year of the Rat, and in a fitting way has you fighting and slaying rodents of every size. So impressed with the graphics, so I'm looking forward to this, although it does still seem to be quite a ways off, but I do hope that it was a treat for the eyes. A wonderful looking roguelike strategy title that takes inspiration from games like Pikmin is the simply titled Worship. Not the best name, but I do like the art style. It reminds me of titles like Undead Horde or Masters of Anima, where you grow a cult and pledge your allegiance to one of the old gods. Interestingly, this has local and online multiplayer support, but the core mechanics of unit management and corralling enemies into ritual circles looks well made. This has already been fully funded, but do check out the stretch goals to see if anything is of interest. This video is brought to you by Fallen Angel, a fantastic looking action-adventure title where you play as the devil himself, ascending and battling your way into heaven to seek your creator.
You are not worthy.
Interestingly, for a top-down title, this does allow you to jump and glide and having so-called platforming sections, which does work well with the combat and exploration, where the Archangel bosses are a sight to behold. While it did launch last year in October, the developers have been busy at work with more modes and quality of life improvements to come, so as good a time as any to pick this up.
So, you want to be a captain, son? Sail your glorious ship into the sunset, fight dragons and rescue princesses? Ha! It's time for you to cast aside your fairy tale, as I'm about to tell you what the life of a captain really is.
Another title currently on Kickstarter is Maritime Calling, an FTL-style management roguelite where you're adventuring on the high seas. I like the change of setting, so wishing them all the best. The first of 3 avian-themed titles is the adorable Kiwi, a co-op puzzle platformer where you and a friend play as 2 kiwi birds running a post office. This means jumping on typewriter keys, buttons, levers, and so on in order to process the mail, looking so disgustingly cute that I have to give it a mention. This got a release window of summer 2021, so we should see it within the next 4 months or so, but I cannot wait to dive in. Speaking of birds, the wacky physics sim title Pigeon Simulator follows in the footsteps of Goat Simulator, and while many such titles have popped up in the wake of the success of that game, this does look to be well made with more thought than some of the other cheap clones that I have seen. Apparently, your pigeon has superpowers like breathing fire, the ability to lift entire adult-sized humans, the ability to transform into a larger version, and even a horrifying humanoid version, but that's par for the course for this type of wacky game.
This is fried chicken. And this is definitely not fried chicken.
Excellent trailer for the Breaking Bad-like sim, definitely not fried chicken, so I'll leave you to them.
Goods. Oh, and your cannabis, meth, cocaine, you know, the usual. People will love your product. Not just your customers, but local businesses will want to, trade too. Upgrade and expand your businesses. Hire and fire. It's your way or the highway. Work them to the bone. But obviously, make sure they have excellent workplace benefits. Keep your businesses running morning, noon, and night. And don't let something trivial like the law or competition get in the way of your good, honest commerce. Definitely not fried chicken. For all your legitimate fake business needs.
The next title from the developer of Hyper Light Drifter is Solar Ash, getting a detailed gameplay trailer which shows the fluidity of the movement, so cannot wait for this as well.
Hey everyone, I'm Alex Preston, Creative Director of Heart Machine. You might know us as the team behind Hyper Light Drifter. Today, I'm here to show you the first peek at gameplay for our new title, Solar Ash. Solar Ash is a huge, stylish 3D platformer focused on speed, movement, and fluidity. The game is set inside a giant black hole, known as the Ultra Void, which has been consuming everything in its path. You play as Ray, a daring Void Runner who has decided to venture into this terrifying anomaly as a last-ditch effort to save her homeworld. Ray is extremely agile, able to speed across the world with abilities akin to skating. On the ash and clouds, she can quickly cover great distances in our huge world. At its core, Solar Ash is a game about movement, and Ray has everything she needs to flow through the dangerous and unique world. As you journey to save your planet, you'll find yourself face to face with grotesque and violent creatures. Our combat system is simple, fast, and fluid, built to empower players and encourage flow. As you explore the Ultra Void, enemy encounters will scale to greater and greater sizes. Some of these creatures require speed and precise timing to defeat. Ray will eventually need to face the massive sentinels of this void, wretched, starved beasts that hold the key to her quest. Solar Ash is Heart Machine's vision of the adventure platformer. The giant spaces, the feel of movement, the flow of combat, and the high-stakes battles atop enormous beasts all come together to bring players something we think is incredibly unique, and more importantly, fun. This game is a labor of love for everyone on the Heart Machine team. We're excited to bring Solar Ash to PS5 and PS4 later this year.
The thing that drew me to the RPG title Ved was the art style, looking very interesting and could be neat, with a nice mix of modern, mystical and fantastical, with a dual world switching mechanic which seems neat, although I certainly need to know more about this.
This city was doomed. With the seeds of evil sown long before it fell, Kenabres ended up in flames. Those who survived were left to face an even worse fate.
The not-so-indie Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous is a direct sequel to Pathfinder Kingmaker, coming to us from a good-sized Russian studio, and based on how great the original was, certainly one of interest to CRPG fans.
Now, we have a glimmer of hope. A gift of tremendous power has been given to one of us. One who has become a leader, united us, and given us the strength to fight back. Nothing will keep us from victory now. The question is, what will become of us when we finally win?
Hello, Mr. Kellerman. I want to remind you about today's visit in our clinic.
I remember, but I have doubts about this. Is this safe?
There is nothing to worry about, Mr. Kellerman. It's completely safe.
Warning, nanoparticle system unstable.
Okay, Doctor. See you soon.
Goodbye.
Horror games are not my thing, but when a title like Dark Moonlight comes along, I'm fairly confident that this would be pretty decent, with the usual body horror and gruesome enemy designs, but it does look well put together, and wishlist this if you love the genre. The technically independent developer Unknown Worlds Entertainment does have over 150 employees, so not the type of indie studio that fits my definition, but I do like the underwater survival title Subnautica, where the standalone spin-off Below Zero has been chugging along in early access and finally got a 1.0 release date. A very special mention goes to Stonefly, an action-adventure game where you pilot a mechanical bug, having to traverse the world, harvest minerals, craft upgrades, and unravel a heartwarming story of self-discovery, family, legacy, and belonging. Of interest is that this developer did previously make the pinball action title Creature in the Well, which I quite enjoyed, so I'm happy to see the next project taking the #1 spot. For a look at some of the biggest upcoming indie games of this year to look forward to, check out this video and I will see you after the jump.